Asterisk, is it true that BTS's Jungkook secretly visited this place without telling Jimin? What exactly is behind the Golden Magne's secret move? Surprising facts and hidden clues are finally revealed. Asterisk, is the friendship between Jungkook and Jimin cracking? Or is there something bigger going on behind the scenes, something that even the ARMY doesn't expect? Just as fans were immersed in the beautiful moments of BTS's comeback, a surprising news came from one of the most beloved members, Jungkook. The Golden Magne is rumored to visit a place secretly, without telling anyone, including his own closest friend, Park Jimin. Before you continue reading, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment your opinion below about what really happened. Is this the beginning of a new story? Or is it a sign of a hidden secret? Let's disassemble everything in this exclusive article. An idol with millions of eyes constantly watching him suddenly disappeared for a few days from the public radar. There is no official schedule, no information from agencies, no marks on social media. Then, a few days later, a blurry photo emerged showing someone very similar to Jungkook in a strange place. Not in South Korea, not in a music studio, not filming, but in a place full of memories, one that ARMY knew so well, yet no one thought he would return there alone and quietly. This fact not only surprised the ARMY, but also caused various speculations and controversies, especially when it is known that Jimin, who is known to be very close to Jungkook, does not know about this departure at all. In a recent live broadcast, Jimin even mentioned that he couldn't get in touch with Jungkook for 2 whole days and thought the Magne was busy rehearsing or recording. But now everything has changed. As it turned out, Jungkook left. And he left on his own, without telling anyone, including Jimin. The question now is, where exactly did Jungkook go? Why did he keep his disappearance a secret? What is the reason behind this mysterious attitude? And is this a sign that there are problems within the group, or even a sign that Jungkook is facing pressure that he does not express? An anonymous source from the Korean entertainment industry revealed that Jungkook was spotted in one of the areas in Japan, but not Tokyo or Osaka as Idol usually visits. It's a small town that has a special history for BTS, where they shot exclusive content years ago. A source said Jungkook was there for 2 days, staying at a modest inn, wearing a hoodie and a mask to avoid being identified. But what is surprising is the purpose of the visit. An old temple that is believed to be a place where visitors come to release emotional burdens and find inner peace. Why would a global idol like Jungkook have to go to such a place, secretly? Meanwhile, various theories began to emerge among fans. Some believe that this is part of his upcoming solo project, perhaps filming an MV or a secret photo shoot. But there are also those who consider this a form of self-search, a moment's escape from the pressures of the entertainment world, or even a form of personal contemplation. One of the ARMY wrote on Twitter, asterisk, I feel like it's not just a vacation. Jungkook looked like he was looking for something. Or maybe they're leaving something out. Asterisk, the comment went viral in no time and sparked a lengthy discussion among the global fandom. Not a few voiced their concerns, worried that Jungkook was facing heavy emotional pressure, especially after a hectic schedule, high expectations, and the burden of being one of the main faces of BTS post-military. And in the midst of all this, one painful question arises. Why wasn't Jimin told? Jimin and Jungkook, known for their unwavering chemistry and closeness, even dubbed as soulmates by fans, now seem to have an invisible distance. Is this just a private moment you don't want to share? Or is it a sign of a shift in the relationship between BTS members? Many recalled the moments the two had together, laughter, tears, even small fights that showed how close they were. But now, everything feels different. Jimin looked awkward in the live broadcast when asked about Jungkook. There was a pause. There are doubts. Even his smile wasn't as bright as usual. Does Jim feel abandoned? Or does he actually know something he can't tell the public? Speculation continues to grow. Some suspect that this is part of the creative conflict between the members, especially since the members began to focus on their respective solo projects. Jungkook, with a different musical style, may be looking for a new direction. But why hide? Why hide from Jimin? Some fans even tried to read the code from Jungkook's Instagram post a few weeks ago. In one story, he wrote asterisk, sometimes, silence is the loudest scream. Asterisk, is this just a random quote? Or a hidden message? What is clear? After this news emerged, HYBE as an agency has not yet given an official statement. They simply say that an artist's personal schedule is a realm of privacy, which only further reinforces the notion that something big is being hidden. Now ARMY is at a crossroads of emotions, between respect for the privacy of the idol and the desire to know what really happened. We all know Jungkook is not an easy person to open up to. He keeps a lot of things to himself. But when even Jimin doesn't know where he's going, it's no longer just a matter of personal secrets, it's something much deeper. Whatever really happened, one thing is certain, Jungkook's stealthy move shook the ARMY around the world. Especially with the symbolism of the places he visited, mysterious messages, and unusual closed attitudes. Is this the beginning of a new chapter in Jungkook's life and career? Or is it just a sign that something is changing behind the glitter of the stage? One thing we learned from BTS is that their every action has meaning. Nothing is accidental. And perhaps, secretly Jungkook is putting together something that will change everything. But what sparked the most shockwaves among the ARMY was not just the question of Jungkook's secret departure, but the allegation that he deliberately did not tell Jimin. The word deliberately here is not without reason, because the more it is traced, the more clues leading to the possibility that this is not an ordinary omission. In a world where tight schedules are set second by second and interactions between BTS members are often professionally and personally curated, the loss of a trace of communication between two friends who used to share every little moment, from a new song to breakfast together, becomes a big question that cannot be ignored. It has been speculated that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship has slowly cracked since solo projects began rolling out. Although in front of the camera they appear compact and professional, the hardline fans who have been following them for years are beginning to feel that something is different. Many underlined the change in Jimin's facial expression whenever Jungkook's name was mentioned, especially in the last live broadcast. At first glance, he was smiling, but to an observant spy, it looked like a defense, not a relief point. One of the videos that has now gone viral shows the moment Jimin fell silent when someone asked about his latest collaboration with Jungkook. Instead of answering enthusiastically as usual, Jimin simply said, "We'll see," in a flatter tone than usual. Many fans immediately connected the dots: Jungkook's sudden departure, Jimin's changed expression, and a quiet statement from the agency that seemed to want to let this small fire grow on its own. Furthermore, some sources from the Korean entertainment industry community even dared to say that this was not the first time Jungkook had done something similar. That said, in the past 2 months, Jungkook has disappeared from radar several times without any explanation. Some say he was seen alone in Paris, then in a secret studio in Thailand. There are even unverified reports that he met with an American music producer without the company of anyone from HYB's management. Is this a small form of rebellion of a star who is getting tired of the system? Or is this a sign that he wants to build his own path, without relying on BTS, even without Jimin? Naturally, this is a weighty and risky statement. But judging from his mannerisms, what Jungkook is doing now is starting to feel like some kind of artistic manifestation of someone who wants to get out, not from the group, but from the pressure to always seem perfect and always be part of the story that is put together. Perhaps, for the first time, Jungkook is writing his own narrative. And in that narrative, Jimin wasn't always the main character. This immediately caused a small split within the fandom itself. Part of the ARMY began to question, are all the interactions that have been displayed on the screen just fan service? Is the bromance they've been enjoying part of the agency's tightly controlled branding strategy? If they were close, why didn't Jimin know Jungkook was abroad? Has Jungkook started moving away from the other members? Is Jimin hurt? Those questions began to resonate not only on Twitter, but also on discussion forums for fans who have been known to be loyal but also critical. Some even wrote at length about the possibility that Jungkook was preparing a solo declaration that was not just musical, but ideological, a symbolic separation from BTS as a collective entity. Another conspiracy theory began to emerge, that Jungkook had been at odds with Jimin since last year due to different artistic directions. On the one hand, Jimin is known to be very emotional, melancholic, and innately connected with deep lyrics and choreography, while Jungkook, especially in his solo projects, began to show a more aggressive, darker, more daring off-the-beaten-track side. This difference, for some insiders, may be the starting point of a silent tension that has been hidden so far with a fake smile, and most controversially, some fans believe Jungkook's actions are a form of personal protest. That he is saturated is constantly referred to as Jimin's little brother, or the sweet and obedient shadow of Jimin. He wants to be seen as an adult man with complex thinking and free will. Perhaps the departure to Japan was not about seeking tranquility, but about declaring independence. Ironically, Jimin himself does not seem to want to discuss this issue further. In the past few interactions with the media and fans, he has smiled more often, shifted the topic, or even avoided long Q&A sessions. Many believe this is a form of maturity, but not a few feel it is a sign that he is harboring wounds, because the pain of being betrayed by love, betrayed by a friend, is a deeper wound. Perhaps for some, Jungkook's actions were a healthy form of rebellion, part of the process of searching for an artistic identity. But for Jimin, who once said that, "I always feel safe when Jungkook is around," leaving without saying goodbye may feel like a small but painful betrayal. It was done by the people he trusted the most. Now, the eyes of the world are on these two men. Not because of new songs, not because of new achievements, but because of the sudden distance appeared between them in silence. And like all BTS stories full of symbolism, this too could be a chapter to be remembered, a time when Jungkook took a different path and left a trail that not everyone could follow. And if you think that everything will just return to normal, you are deeply mistaken. Because right after this news spread widely, another astonishing fact emerged. Jungkook not only went to Japan, but he also met someone from BTS's past who has been considered a dark shadow in the group's history. A name that has never been called again since BTS began conquering the world. That person was not the manager, not the production staff, but their former choreographer who had previously feuded with several members due to differences in creative views. There are even loud rumors that the conflict once made one of the members want to leave the group. So, why did Jungkook interact with the figure again? Secretly? Is he preparing for something beyond HYB's control? Is this a sign that Jungkook dares to go against the grain, even if it means going against the system that raised him? And ironically, it was Jimin who used to be the most vocal in rejecting the choreographer's approach. There's even old footage from a 2018 BTS documentary, in which Jimin once said clearly that not all visions of art are worth compromising, even if they come from people we used to respect. A sentence that was applauded at the time, but now feels like a curse that has come back to haunt. Is Jungkook indirectly replying to the past? Is he deliberately doing this as a form of proof that he no longer wants to follow the mutually agreed path? This defiant attitude is not just a symbol of an artist's independence. It can be read as a declaration of small war against a restrictive system. And that system is not only HYB, but also BTS's internal relationship structure that has been so strong. Bonds between members, unwritten agreements to always be open to each other, absolute loyalty that is the basis of their success. But what happens if Jungkook no longer believes in the deal? There have also been rumors from the international fan community that Jungkook is not only preparing for a regular solo project, but a project that could shift BTS's dominant narrative as a cohesive group. A project that highlights the dark side of the industry, tensions between members, and the inner conflict of an idol who has been constantly pressured to be perfect. There is a crazy theory that his solo album will later be a kind of open recognition of the internal dynamics of BTS that have been hidden. And this, if true, could be the biggest scandal in K-pop history. Some Korean underground media have even begun preparing investigative reports about the silent conflict between Jungkook and several other members, including Jimin. Article titles began to appear, mentioning that Golden Magne is no longer gold in the eyes of other members, or Jungkook defected secretly for the sake of a solo career. Although it seemed sensational, this narrative was warmly welcomed by the public who were tired of the perfect harmonious imagery. The world is hungry for a true story, and Jungkook, whether consciously or unconsciously, is positioning himself as the main character in K-pop's biggest drama to date. The fans began to split. Those loyal to BTS as a whole began to question Jungkook, calling him selfish, and even betraying the values of brotherhood that they had always been proud of. But others supported his bold move, seeing it as a symbol of the artistic awakening of an individual who refuses to be constrained by false loyalties and outdated relationships. And in the midst of this storm of opinions, Jimin remained silent. Not defend, not argue. Only a faint smile and a short statement that everyone needs their own time. But is it time or a limit? You can't pretend that this is just a trivial matter. Not when fans have started bringing up old videos, reading body gestures, quoting vague sentences and lyrics, and comparing their dynamics now and then. Not when industry observers say that this is the inflection point, that could determine whether BTS will survive as a single entity or will begin to break slowly, starting from one personal decision that is not communicated to others. And yes, you can say this is an exaggeration, but the truth is, in a world as big as BTS, one small step can become a global earthquake. Jungkook didn't just leave without saying goodbye. It leaves with a question that shakes at the root of everything we believe about friendship, honesty, and loyalty in the entertainment world. And Jimin's silence, as if to be the most painful amplification of all those speculations. Is this the end of the Jungkook and Jimin era? Have we just witnessed the beginning of the separation that we have been so afraid of? And even more frightening, was all this really planned a long time ago? If you're still reading this, you must be feeling the tension. The tension between reality and what we want to believe. Don't let this conversation stop at you. Leave your comment now. ***. What do you think of Jungkook's move? Do you think Jimin deserves more honesty than his best friend? Do you see this as the rise of an artist or the beginning of a split? And if you want to know more theories, hidden facts, and in-depth analysis of Jungkook and Jimin's relationship in the future, subscribe now. Because the first wave has just arrived, and the real storm has not yet begun. ***, are you ready to face the truth? ***.